on to our third conversation here tonight. We're going to put the spotlight on the Congress party and what's going on within, where it seems to be imploding one more time, and also externally, where its own allies seem to be backing other political parties this election season. So obviously the first aspect is to do with the Congress's decision to ally with the Indian Secular Front in the Bengal elections, and that's not gone down well with the leaders within the Congress party itself. Anand Sharma was one of the first to come out and question this move and say that these decisions cannot be taken unilaterally. There has to be conversations in the core working committee groups, and this decision centrally taken. Parties Bengal in charge, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, hit out saying that those who are speaking against the party are speaking the language of the TMC and the BJP, and there's been an ugly war of words between the two sides. All of this, remember, is happening in the backdrop of the fact that several of these Rebel Cong leaders, and as many are calling them G23, because these are the senior 23 leaders who spoke up about the need to revamp and lay out a vision for the party. These leaders actually met up in Jammu recently, the invitation of Ghulam Nabi Azad, and that created quite a bit of controversy. Then was this war of words that actually took place over the Bengal alliance. Don't forget that the RJD, Tejasvi Yadav himself, and close on the heels of that, even the Samajwadi Party have openly now backed the TMC this election season. They're allies of the Congress party. SP at one point fought elections with the Congress in UP. RJD recently fought elections in Bihar with the Congress party, and they now support TMC in West Bengal, where Congress and the left are fighting separately. There is still a lot of suspense over what kind of seat sharing is going to take place in Tamil Nadu. The DMK is extremely tight-lipped about what's going to happen to the Congress party, but murmurs within to say they're obviously not interested in giving too many seats, and that debate really goes on if the lessons from the Bihar election is to not give too much to the Congress in an election season. Let me say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now, and we'll bring out more and more as we go along in this conversation. But is this Congress crisis going to cost it a lot, not just as a party that seems to be imploding a lot of the people who've left in the recent past, but also about if it ends up being the only one without any allies, and if that's going to further impact their poll fortunes. Sanjay Jha, former National Spokesperson of the Congress party, joins us this evening. Saeed Faisal Ali, senior leader of the RJD. Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor with Business Standard. And Anshul Avijit, national spokesperson of the Congress party, is with us. Thank you to everybody for joining in. I want to start off with Ghanshyam to understand what's going on. Ghanshyam, in a state where Congress is fighting with the left, and have very clearly said that they don't want to join hands with the TMC to defeat the BJP. Why are you guys going ahead and backing the TMC?
I think that the state politics in India gravitates towards the most dominant force in the state. And much like in Uttar Pradesh, we are the most dominant force. Similarly, in Bengal, Mamata Banerjee ji is a tall leader, is the most dominant force. And it is but natural for political parties who have stood hand to hand on several issues in opposing Bharatiya Janata Party, right from the days of demonetization to the poorly implemented lockdown to the kind of hatred that Bharatiya Janata Party stands for today in society. I think parties have come under one banner to speak. So it is natural that those alignments will happen. As far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, we are looking at the alliance and the chemistry of alliance in Uttar Pradesh. As far as West Bengal is concerned, we are not a dominant force there. We are joining our forces with TMC because that is the incumbent government. Mamata Banerjee ji has done phenomenal work, and she has given BJP a befitting response.
Did you tell the Congress party, and did Akhilesh speak to the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi and say, why don't you do the same? Why are you so insistent on not allying forces with the strongest one in Bengal?
Well, I think it is for Congress party to decide on itself, and I think clearly within Congress party you see multiple camps. So each party makes its own political decisions. It's on the frame of its own principles, as well as the national alliance that the party sees.
Well, let me get in, Ghanshyam, let me also get in Mr. Saeed Faisal Ali. And I want to know from Mr. Ali if lessons from Bihar results is what prompted Tejasvi to not back Congress but back TMC this time?
No, there is no such thing. Our alliance with Congress in Bihar is rock solid, and we are hand in hand with Congress in all other states. But as far as the politics of Bengal is concerned, as Mr. Patwari was saying, there are two forces. One is led by Mamata Banerjee, and the other is led by the Communist Party. And as you know, Congress Party has got alliance with Communist nationally, so we have no issues with that. And whatever we are doing, we are supporting Mamata Banerjee because we, in our own considered opinion, we think that Mamata Banerjee is more powerful, more strong than Congress and CPM put together to stop BJP. So that is the reason Tejasvi Yadav is there, and we have extended all support. Our leader Lalu Prasad Yadav has also extended support to Mamata Banerjee, and we are pretty sure that our combination will be in a position to stop Mamata Banerjee, will be in a position to stop Bharatiya Janata Party. On the other hand, what I think that even if CPM and Congress put together, they win a considerable number of seats, they will also be with us. I mean, with Mamata Banerjee and other parties to stop BJP forming government in Bengal. At the same time, let me tell you one thing, that the hype about BJP in Bengal, I was in Bengal recently and I just came back. What we are seeing on the media is too much of hype about BJP's presence in Bengal. If you go to the rural Bengal, you will find that there is no one who talks about the BJP, who talks about Ram Mandir, who talks about any provocative issues or any issues which are being thrown every day to lure voters to their fold. So that is very clear. The fight there is between Congress alliance on the one hand and Mamata Banerjee TMC alliance on the other hand.
Okay, so that's the comment that's coming from the two allies. A quick comment from Anshul on what's going on before I get Radhika Ramaseshan and then Sanjay Jha. Anshul Avijit, this would be a little disheartening and embarrassing for a party when your own allies in the upcoming elections are backing somebody else.
No, Tanvi, I mean, the logic of elections and the logic of parties aligning, differs from election to election. I mean, it's not unusual for parties to align with one another in one state and to discuss the permutations and combinations with a party in another state. It's nothing unusual at all. I mean, the center has done it many times. I mean, the BJP government has done it many times. I mean, the allies of the BJP have done it many times, where they've aligned with the BJP in the center and then not in the states. The Congress has done it many times. I mean, the history of alliances is a complex one. Why you tie up with one party and not another party depends on ground realities of that particular party at that particular juncture in time. So it's all related to time and space. And there's nothing at all embarrassing or something about that.
No, but it is reflective, like you said, of the ground reality, which is that the Congress party, nobody has any faith in your political fortunes or performance in the upcoming polls. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
No, I think, Tanvi, that if you saw the turnout in that rally that happened a couple of days back, in which, the huge kind of turnout, after which, all this speculation arose about, the controversies that have taken place. It goes to show that there is massive support for this particular alliance, which is led by the left parties. And one is part of that alliance. We worked out a seat sharing formula in which it's got 92 seats in that particular alliance. And we are all ready. We are battle ready to fight this election and take on whoever it may be.
Let me ask Radhika Ramaseshan this question as well. Your view on what's happened with these two parties backing TMC, and will it also make the left and the DMK question how much share they want to really give to the Congress this time?
Yeah, first, I think you only referred to the Bihar elections to show that probably the Congress got more seats, was punched way above its weight and probably got more seats than it ought to have, and it didn't win that many seats. Exactly. Let me take you back to the 2016 Tamil Nadu elections, where the DMK parted with 41 seats to the Congress, of which the Congress won only 8, and it secured a vote percentage of 6 point something. The DMK was very upset because I think here was Stalin who thought that he's going to dislodge the AIADMK, but the Congress was blamed for pulling down the coalition because Stalin was left with what? 88 seats or something. And obviously, he couldn't form a government with the UPA coalition. So once bitten, twice shy, Stalin is again not willing to give the Congress more than 20 to 25 seats in Tamil Nadu. But I would look at the big picture. And namely, the bigger picture is that none of these regional parties are willing to accept the leadership of the Congress. Let's face it. I'm sure the Congress spokesperson is going to pounce on me, but I put it very bluntly. They are not reposing any faith in the Congress's ability to lead a non-BJP front. So what are these elections about? These elections which are coming are also about as much about regionalism as they are about nationalism. You have two important regional parties, namely the TMC and the DMK. And of course, in Kerala, you have the LDF versus the UDF. Now, the Congress is obviously pinning all its hopes on dislodging the LDF in Kerala, but we can come to that later. So, Stalin and Mamta are very important players in these elections. And it is very obvious to me I'm not surprised at what the RJD and the SP have done in West Bengal. Of course, they look at Mamta as a leader with more potential to lead or at least be part of a non-BJP so-called secular front than the Congress. The problem is really with the Congress. I mean, look at the elections in Gujarat. Gujarat is a bipolar polity. And here you have these local body elections where the Congress is down to zilch. I mean, whether it's in the urban or in the semi-rural areas, the Congress has not gained anything.
Correct.
So there's something seriously wrong. And I think the party needs to introspect very seriously on where things are going wrong. I mean, the lack of a leadership, Sonia Gandhi is the interim president, but there is no full-fledged president. There is nobody who is really inspiring the workers. And as for this question about, all this preceding speakers have said that electoral alliances are state-specific. Fine. I mean, you can be with the Congress at the center and you can fight the Congress somewhere else.
Exactly.
But I think this always confuses the workers, the cadre, and somewhere it infuses an element of demoralization, despondency among the workers. And that always tells, I've covered so many elections and I know confusing electoral alliances prove to be the undoing of any coalition, so this has to be borne in mind.
In fact, if you see the only exceptions to that would perhaps be where you've had strong leaders at the state level who've managed to, help with the Congress's poll fortunes. Otherwise, like you said, it's demoralizing even for the ground level worker to see what's going on, the amount of confusion and the lack of leadership. Anshul, I know you will want to respond to this, but let me quickly get in a word from Sanjay Jha as well on Congress and its allies and the dilemma that now faces DMK and even the left about what to do next. Sanjay Jha.
Well, I think it's heartbreaking for any supporter of the Congress to see the grand old party self-destruct literally on a daily basis. What is the narrative that we are discussing today? The fact that the Congress is becoming a liability for its own regional allies. But I would not be so pessimistic at this stage. I mean, I do believe that the Congress has a chance to ensure that Kerala remains a swing state. I can see that Rahul Gandhi is investing a lot of his political capital there. Assam, I've been told, that is becoming a little bit of a closer race. I believe Tamil Nadu will be a DMK Congress combined, should make it there, which makes it that in West Bengal, in any case, the left of the Congress is expected to be either damaging the BJP or the TMC. But there is one point here, Tanvi, that we need to recognize that, I think these are state elections. And yes, they will have a major repercussion on the Congress party more than the BJP, because the BJP stakes are really more significant in West Bengal and in Assam. I don't see them being a player in either Kerala or Tamil Nadu. And even in Puducherry, they last time they got 0 seats. As far as the Congress is concerned, and I believe as somebody who's ideologically committed to the party, that this is a moment for the Congress to introspect and ask itself, Why is it that in 2017, I remember that because we were actively following up on that campaign, when Rahul Gandhi, kind of went there, he was a front runner in that campaign. The Congress got 77 seats, and we actually literally bearded the lion in their own den. Why is the Congress debilitated so badly in Gujarat? When barely a few states, why does Puducherry go away? Over the last 1.5 years, where did Karnataka go? Where did Madhya Pradesh go? Rajasthan virtually lost that. I think, until the Congress party is able to introspect and have these conversations within, I'm tired of using the word introspect, Tanvi. In fact, I'll use the word self-examination just to make it different.
Yeah.
Because until you have these conversations within, how are you going to take on the might of this extremely, I consider this perhaps the most powerful election machinery in modern democracy worldwide. It's not just social media as the RSS foot soldiers, Mr. Modi's charisma, Amit Shah's Chanakya tactics, but look at the way they fight in election. And I'll give you one example which will tell you why supporters of the grand old party need to worry. Just one example will suffice. The challenger, whether in sports or in politics or in business, is supposed to be the one who burns the midnight oil to take on the market leader. Look at what's happening in politics. You have Mr. Modi, who's the second-term prime minister, extremely popular. Mr. Amit Shah, a renowned Chanakya, works remarkably hard, puts his, plays his chessboard remarkably well. You have now a new president in JP Nadda. So 3 people running a BJP campaign of a party that is twice had absolute majority in the Lok Sabha. Now compare that to the Congress.
No, so exactly the point, Sanjay Jha. In fact, I was going to say that when you say that, look at Rahul Gandhi, who's actively campaigning in Kerala and in Tamil Nadu and leading from the front, and or even in Assam. The point is, I'm sorry, but I don't think Rahul Gandhi spending some time with the fishermen or with the students and interacting with them is going to really drastically change your political fortunes, simply for the reasons that you just listed out, Sanjay Jha. Who is your challenger? Who is your rival? Your rival is the one who started this plan 3 years ago, or maybe long earlier than that, and has got it down to the T. For every seat, they know exactly who should be there, why they should be there, what are the permutation combinations, and how they're going to win it. And that's why they win it. So that's what you're up against. Now, it can't be that 3 months before elections, you wake up and you go and you show your faces in a few rallies and you say, well, see, the job's done. We're leading from the front. Anshul Avijit, would you like to respond to what's been said here before I bring in Ghanshyam?
Oh, come on. I'm now, singing praises of the 3 people in the BJP, the 3 top men in the BJP is really too much for me to bear. I mean, whoever they may be, whatever their greatness may be, whatever their charisma may be. I mean, they brought the country to the ground. They brought the economy to the ground. I mean, they have failed in every single department, and their incompetence is dazzling. That's what bothers me.
I'm not talking about their governance skills. I'm simply talking about their political skills right now.
The people who have brought this country to the ground.
I am not talking about the governance skills right now. I'm talking about the political ones, Anshul.
To praise, Tanvi, I get your point, and I'm coming to that. I'm highly intolerant of praise coming for these kind of people who've completely devastated this country. Right now, I understand that I know you want to talk about the Congress. I understand that there is about what is going on in the Congress. I mean, it's trying to revive itself. Yes. There is the showing in Gujarat, which is less than satisfactory. Yes, it got very close. I mean, it was actually a kind of a robust sort of performance in 2017 in Gujarat. Yes, it hasn't done that spectacularly well as it should have very recently. Yes, in many places, it seems that it is not doing that well. But let me tell you that it's still in power in many states. It holds on to that power despite the machinations of the BJP. I mean, you brought about the BJP, how come things have changed in particular number of states? Well, it was because of the machinations of the BJP, who flouted every constitutional law to get what they want. And this is what they do. They stoop to conquer. The Congress doesn't do that. And surely that can't be praised for that. I mean, I understand that everything is not right with the Congress. I mean, it's not an infallible organization. For God's sake, it's been there for 135 years, even more than that. And it survived because of its democracy and its principles. And it's going to survive again tomorrow. Must remember one thing, Tanvi, and I must say that there is a certain percentage, loyal percentage of Congress votes that has always remained intact. Given a few percentage here and there, that I believe we have to capitalize on, and we will. The future is there for us to see.
So,
and yes.
Yes. So I'll tell you what. And I am never the kind of people who say that this is the end or that you will not survive. In fact, much like, yes, Mr. Faisal Ali, I'm coming to you. Much like how Sanjay Jha said he hates the word introspection because it's been overused, I will also say writing the epitaph for Congress is a phrase that's been overused. You are still here. You will be here for a while. But in what form? And when will you become part of that strong opposition as a challenger that is required consistently, not as a one-off cases? Because right now what we're staring at is an implosion and an isolation externally. I understand what you're saying, Anshul, but this is what many are right now questioning. Mr. Faisal Ali wanted to make a point, and then to Ghanshyam Tiwari.
See, what Mr. Sanjay Jha, one-time Congress member, is saying, heaping praise on the three gentlemen. I would like to remind him that what happened in Bihar, all these forces, all these charismatic political leaders with 32 and 34 helicopters were chasing one young leader, Tejasvi Yadav, and still we became the single largest party in Bihar. So please don't think that they are unbeatable. We literally have beaten them in election, and they have managed.
I also remember, Mr. Faisal Ali, that that a lot of your party members on that day, sir, were on this channel. Mr. Faisal Ali, if you're doing a refresher course on what happened in Bihar, let me also tell you a lot of your own party colleagues came out and blamed the Congress party for your political results there. So let's not forget that as well. You may say your alliance is very well intact in Bihar today, but you did blame the Congress party then.
Yes, sir. See, who blamed the Congress party is another thing, but no official spokesman of our RJD has ever blamed Congress party. That is fact. That is the fact. Let me tell you, what they are saying, Mr. Sanjay Jha is saying that they are unbeatable. He is portraying Mr. Nadda, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah as unbeatable trial. That is not the case. You will see what happens with them in Bengal. And the situation in Bengal is the worst in the electoral battle. So, saying, of course, what they have changed in Indian political scenario is that they have brought in a lot of money. Yeah. What is happening in Puducherry? They are purchasing MLAs. What happened in Madhya Pradesh? They have bought MLAs. So if that type of politics is going to be there in future for Indian democracy, then I'm sorry that Indian democracy is in deep crisis. But please, for God's sake, don't. Once you were a congressman, you should not heap praise on those people who have brought country to such a level, they have stooped to such a level that no level has left. See the status of where our economy is. See where the brotherhood is. Our social fabric has been destroyed.
Well, all of that is debatable, but at the end of the day, we are right now talking about the electoral fortunes. When they start getting wiped out state after state, then you can give me this argument. Then you can give me this argument. Right now, I'm only talking about the election results and the political fortunes and political strategy. Mr. Syed Faisal Ali, I'm right now talking about political winning strategy. That's what we are staring at right now, not the governance aspect. Now, if you will allow me, there is a second part to this conversation, which is what is happening within the Congress party itself, which is, the kind of comments we've seen, the infighting that has happened. One day a leader says something, the next day another one snipes back. And I'm not just talking about Adhir Ranjan versus Anand Sharma that's happened right now, but even in the recent past, series of these, a lot of these leaders spend the weekend together in Jammu, having a conversation together. And here is what Rahul Gandhi has recently said. And I find this comment extremely interesting because everybody is asking what's the future of the leadership? What's their future plan? Here is Rahul Gandhi, who recently spoke on his campaign trail on internal democracy and how he was crucified for holding elections in the Youth Congress, crucified by the media as well as several others. Let's listen into that comment and see what's the message there.
You're speaking to the person who has been pushing this stuff in the Congress party for a decade. I'm the person who pushed elections in the youth organizations, pushed elections in the student organizations, got serious beating in the press for that. I was literally crucified for doing elections, right? I was attacked by my own party people. So I'm the first person that says, look, democratic elections within parties absolutely critical.
Well, so that was the conversation with Kaushik Basu, and I think that was a Cornell University interaction that was held. Now, Radhika Ramaseshan, Rahul Gandhi justifying that I'm all for internal party democracy in elections, but every time I pitch it, I get crucified for it.
Right. I mean, it's a welcome thought to hold internal elections. I encourage internal democracy. I mean, all parties should emulate if indeed Rahul Gandhi is doing it seriously. My question is, why don't they allow an election for the post of the president? I mean, let Rahul contest, let there be another contestant outside the family, and then let us see. It's not that the Congress has not done it before. Of course, the top post has been contested in the past, and inevitably a member of the family has won. But since there is so much criticism against dynasties, legatees, and so on, I think Rahul Gandhi should show spunk. Sonia Gandhi should show spunk by holding an election for the post of the president. That would be the ultimate test, you know. Of course, it matters if the student body is the post of the NSUI president is contested, or the Mahila Morcha, all that is fine. But I think the litmus test is if the post of the president is contested, since there is so much talk about internal democracy or the lack of internal democracy within the Congress. And I think it will be fair to just blame the Congress for the lack of internal democracy. It's a feature that affects every party. I mean, you don't see it in the BJP either. As someone who's been covering the BJP since 1989, yeah. I mean, I know exactly how it works. And there was a time when the BJP structures were such that they did have internal democracy, internal elections. Over the years, it's all got very centralized. So anyway, since we're talking about the Congress, and since you asked me a question about the Congress, this is what I would say, that let Mr. Gandhi take the initiative to call for an election for the post of the Congress president. The Congress doesn't have a president yet, and that would be, internal democracy if he does it. But there is no sign of that. I mean, he's not showing any sign that he wants to take over the party. I mean, you're getting jumbled signals all the time. So let him clarify once and for all and hold an internal election. I mean, why not?
Why doesn't that happen, Sanjay Jha? Why doesn't it happen that this party seem to have gone around in circles when it comes to deciding their next leader?
Well, that's been one of our biggest problems. I think the Gandhis have a very huge political brand, and the Congress Working Committee, where there should have been internal elections, there hasn't been one for over 20 odd years. So, I mean, this is how, we became enervated as a political organization. Remember that, we always see these superstars on television. But, you go down to the villages, you come even to Mumbai, and the real Karyakarta is one who works from the grassroots upwards. So, that's one of the issues on which the G23, and I really support them. Many people call them rebels and, people who are disgruntled, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that the Congress needs to have dialogue. Somebody who criticizes, for example, a Congress's alliance or its ideological obfuscation, or the fact that the political leadership has fallen short. You're not being you're not becoming a BJP agent, for heaven's sake. Who's going to resurrect the Congress? There is this very bright, I'm very impressed by Anshul here on the TV screen. I'm seeing him here for the first time. Now, I want to tell you that, to encourage the young talent that the Congress has, everyone should expect to become the Congress president. I'll give you one example, Tanvi. When we as MBAs joined a bank, all of us wanted to become the CEO. Why is that in the Congress party, people say that my career will come to an end as a vice president? It shouldn't be. Let the best person win. So I think the time has come. I think Rahul means well, but it is not enough to indulge in these platitudes and pontifications.
Yeah.
Rahul did try the youth Congress stuff, but now do it in the mainstream party. Every day counts in politics. I don't know why the Congress is blowing away an opportunity.
So is he once bitten, twice shy? Then is that the message, Anshul, that I should take from this comment that Rahul Gandhi's made about internal elections, that look, when I did it, look what was done to me?
Well, I too am delighted to see Sanjay Jha on this show. I never got to know him earlier, but I'm delighted that he's here. Just a very quick point before I respond to this. I mean, this kind of discrepancy that's been made out, right, between elections and then governance. I mean, that is the whole problem of Indian democracy today. That Indian democracy, and I've studied this in great detail, has been just reduced to elections. That's the time when the media comes alive. I suppose it's very attractive, it's very alluring. You get more eyeballs, you get more discussions, there's a lot of polemics, there's a lot of dialectics. I understand the attraction of elections. But unfortunately, and that's the tragedy of India today, that it's been reduced to simply elections. So governance has gone out of the window. We never talk about it in the same breath as we're talking about Indian democracy. Elections are a very critical part of Indian democracy, but it is not the only part. Government is the most important part. I mean, governance is, legislation is, passing laws is, and here the government has failed miserably. That's why Sanjay Jha, I was a little crestfallen when I heard him praise these three members of the BJP, because they have fine-tuned the art of elections. It's not about elections at all. I think it's about governance. Elections are a part of Indian democracy. And the second point, which I want to make, is that, well, as far as the Congress party is concerned and its democratic traditions, yes, I think that it needs to, unfold the democratic process within the party. But you must remember that it is the democracy in the party that is its strength, not its weakness. It's a 135-year-old party, and there have been disagreements, there have been sort of discord, there have even been differences within the party. I mean, I can recount to you a number of instances, having studied them so deeply, where people have come to loggerheads. I mean,
but what kind of democracy within the party are we talking about when the top leadership can't even come to an agreement about who's going to lead them next? For now, what, since 5 years, we've been going around in circles about this, Anshul. So I'm trying to understand, what democracy are you talking about internally?
Well, that is exactly the democracy I'm talking about. There may not be concurrence, but there will be certainly a consensus that will be evolved. And
if you hold elections democratically, we'll figure out.
No, a consensus will be evolved, and consensus is the basis of all democracy within the party or outside it.
Okay.
I mean, the BJP knows nothing about consensus outside the party, does it? I mean, it runs an authoritarian sort of almost a regime like in North Korea, where there is no dissent allowed. Tell me how many people knew about the demo was coming? Was there any consultation? There is no consultation in the BJP.
Well, I'm glad they didn't consult within the BJP, because it was a government decision. Should not have been consulted within the party itself. It has to be consultations within the government. I get the point that you're making. Radhika Ramaseshan,
Yeah. 2-3 things. I mean, this business of separating governance from elections makes no sense to me. If you don't win an election, how are you going to get into power? How are you going to govern a state or the center? I mean, you can pick faults with Modi's governance and whatever. But the point is that elections are the bedrock of democracy. Let's not lose sight of that. And actually, I'm also pretty sick of hearing this argument about faulty EVMs and manipulations and so on. The point is that the BJP leadership, I mean, you can fault them. They have their angularities and so on. But they don't waste a single minute in preparing for the next election. I mean, they won to 2019, and here they were preparing for the next the slew of state elections. They did well in Bengal in Lok Sabha. Since then, Amit Shah has been focused only on winning the West Bengal assembly elections. How on earth are you going to fault the BJP for that? I mean, this to me seems like an absolutely nonsensical argument.
At the end of the day, I just want to say this. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of time, but I just want to say this. You and your friends in the political scenario may even have a valid point about questioning the government, about questioning any party's policies, about questioning the party's governance. But all of that will not help if you're not able to take them on strongly politically when it comes to elections. Only if you win elections can you actually change the policies that you have a problem with. And so the Congress party, first up, needs to get its own house in order at some point. You cannot expect to win elections and become a strong challenger to a party like the BJP if you wake up a couple of months ahead of elections and then show up at a few rallies where you think your party in alliance with somebody may do decently. I mean, anybody can turn around and ask how many rallies and campaigns is Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi going to do in West Bengal, where their own allies have abandoned them to go ahead and back TMC because they know who's the strong contender to the BJP this election season and who matters in West Bengal. Imploding from inside, constant voices of dissent, disagreement, and now public war of words between leaders and being abandoned by their own allies cannot spell good news for the grand old party. And frankly, all of us are tired of saying it, but they really need to get their act together. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.